Hi, I'm Joe, a tutor at helpingdevelop.com. Welcome back to part 5 of creating a basic membership website. In today's lesson, we're going to be going over creating the page permissions, creating global.php, and we're also going to be creating logout.php. So sit back and enjoy. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to go to My Computer, local disk C, XAMPP, htdocs, membership, and we're going to open up home.php. And once again, I'm working in Dreamweaver CS 5.5. And because I'm working in Dreamweaver, I can navigate to global.php straight away as it's an included file. If you're in another text editor, then I suggest you go ahead and open that file as we'll be working in this for the first part of this tutorial. Right, now we're going to be checking if the sessions are set. Now this is important to check if the member data is correct and set them as logged in. So how we do this is we type if is set, open bracket, $_ session, open square bracket, 2 single quotation marks and close square bracket, and we just put a session name in here. So we've used username, so we put that in there. Then we close it off and we open and close the curly brace. Now once in here, we're going to be setting some global variables which can be used throughout the site to collect the session username. So we're just going to type session username equals session username, like so. And we're going to do exactly the same for the rest of the sessions that we have on the site. So we have session pass, and we also have session ID. Once this is done, then we can now check the member data. And we're checking the member data with the ID and the password, so to be able to hack you need to know the password or the ID anyway. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new variable named query, and it's going to be equal to mysql_query, and we're going to apply an or die function to that, which is just going to say could not check member. Within the query, we're just going to select all from members where ID is equal to the variable of session_ID and password is equal to the variable of session_password or session_pass, and we're going to limit that by 1. Then we're just going to create a new variable, and I'm just going to name this count, and you can name it anything you want, but it's going to be equal to mysql_num_rows, and then within the brackets of that we're just going to link it to the query we just created. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to check if that variable count or count_count is greater than 0. If it is, then it means that the user is correct and he is logged in, or he or she is logged in. So we can put the logged in stuff in this if statement here. Else, this means if the user is not logged in. And what we're going to do if they're not logged in or the information is incorrect, then we're going to just header location like we did in the login.php, and we're going to send them to logout.php and then exit the script. So that if their member information is incorrect, we're just going to go ahead and log them out. So now in the logged in stuff, what we're going to do is we're just going to create a variable which again can be used across the site, and it's just going to be called logged, and it's going to be equal to 1. Then we're going to create an else statement, and this else statement is going to be an else if. And the else if is going to be else if is set $_cookie, which is how we collect the set cookie that we made in the login.php, and we just put in the cookie name, so we used ID cookie. So if the cookies are set, then what we're going to do is we're just going to create a variables, and I'm going to name them the same as I named the sessions. So session ID equals $_cookie, open square brackets, within them 2 single quotation marks, and then the name of the cookie. Now I know it's not very good of me to use the same variable name as the sessions, so it doesn't really make sense, but if you're watching this tutorial you should be able to understand it. It's basically because I want to copy this statement up here, or this whole if and else condition, so I can use the same variables. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it below. So now we don't even have to change this query and it will work fine. Now if the cookies are set, then we obviously want to keep logged in as 1, but what we need to do is we need to create the sessions because they obviously haven't been set yet. So how we're going to do this is just exactly the same as login.php. We're just going to create the session username, and it's going to be equal to the variable session username. Then the $_session ID is going to be equal to the session underscore ID, which is set within this if condition. And then the session pass is going to be set to the session underscore pass, which is set in this if condition from the cookies as well. Now you notice how this session username here hasn't been set in this if condition. So what we're going to do here is, as the query would be true, as that information is correct, we're going to do a while loop. Within this, it's going to have a row which is equal to the MySQL underscore fetch underscore array of that query. And we're going to close that off, and we're going to open and close the curly braces, and we're just going to create a new variable named session username, and it's going to equal to the row in our database username where that is applied to. So then we've already got the session username, and that will work and be set fine. Now we need to create an else condition, and this is if they're not logged in. Now if they're not logged in, we're just going to set the variable of logged to equal to 0. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some page permissions. For example, on this page we don't want non-logged in users to be able to view this page. So what we're going to do is we're going to go if logged is equal to 0, then like in login.php, we're going to use the header location function which I showed you to redirect them to index.php, and then send them to the exit script. Use the exit function to exit the script. That makes more sense. And then I'm just going to copy this, I'm going to file open, I'm going to open index.php. Then I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to change if logged is equal to 1, so if they're logged in, then we're just going to send them to home.php straight away. So now if I file and open just a random page, we can now create logout.php. So we're going to get rid of all the code in here, and we're just going to save it as logout.php. Then we're going to open the PHP tag and close the PHP tag. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to set up the sessions to be able to collect the sessions. And then a couple lines after that, all we're going to be doing is we're just going to be destroying the sessions. So we write session underscore destroy. Now after this, obviously if the cookies are set, then it's already going to create sessions even if you've destroyed the sessions. So what we're going to do is we're going to do if is set $underscore cookie, then the cookie name, so we used id underscore cookie. Like so. Then we can say set cookie, just like we did when we were setting the cookies in login.php. The first argument is the name of the cookie, which has to be the same to overwrite it, and what it's equal to is going to be nothing. Now the time, what we're going to do is we're going to set it to minus 50,000, as that's going to almost go back in time, so it just basically rewrites that cookie to be equal to nothing and almost non-existent. Then we're just going to put the / in that argument there to make it in the current directory. So we're just going to copy this, and we're going to paste it below and use it exactly the same, but change the name to pass cookie. Now what this will do is it will destroy the cookie if it is set. Else if it isn't set, then it will just ignore that statement and it won't have to run that code. Right, the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to check if the session is successfully being destroyed or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to do if is set session username. So if the username session has been set, then what we're going to do is we're just going to echo out you could not be logged out, please try again. Something like that. And then we're going to exit the script after that. Else what we're going to do is we're just going to navigate them to index.php using the header location function which we've been using in this tutorial. And what now we'll be allowed to visit index.php as the sessions would be destroyed, so it won't redirect us to home.php, so it all should be good. Okay, so now we're going to test this script out. So we're going to just change this location to logout.php. I can see we get the message of we could not log you out, please try again. Now what I realized this was is that the $_session is set, but it's just been destroyed in this script. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to use another PHP function which is built into PHP, and it's quite simple. It's going to be if session _is _registered, and we open and close brackets. Within the brackets put 2 single quotation marks and then the name of the session, and then we close the brackets off. Now that should work. So now if we refresh, it just sends us to index.php. So now we can log in and we can put in the incorrect details to check if the login still works, which it does. And now we can put in the correct information, and you can see that we are logged in. Then we may even want to put a logout link on this page as well. So we're just going to link it to logout.php, and then we're just going to say logout here and close off the link. Then we're going to refresh, and you see we have a link which automatically logs us out, and we can log in again. And you can see here, and then if we close the browser and navigate to localhost, and we can just go into the membership, and it redirects us to home.php, and we can log out again. So this is the end of this tutorial, and in the next lesson what we're going to be starting is the profile.php. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to rate, like my video below, comment, and also subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.